The HD-CTL 101 can be mounted on a wall, under a table, or in a rack. Regardless of how you choose to mount the device, use the included 1/4 inch screws and attach the mounting brackets to the device. To mount the device on the wall, hold it up to the wall, mark the positions of the holes. Once the positions have been marked, you will need to drill into the wall and install the included anchors. Once the anchors are installed, you can use the 3/4 inch screws to mount the device to the wall. To mount the device under a table, you need to use the mounting brackets we attached earlier in this video. You will need wood screws, which are not included, to mount the device to a table. To mount the device in a rack, you need to use one of the mounting brackets we installed earlier, depending on whether you are installing it on the left side rail or right side rail. Use 2 rack screws to attach the device to the rack rail. Note the rack screws are not included with the device. The HD-CTL 101 is powered using Power over Ethernet. The HD-CTL 101 has an HDMI input and an HDMI output. We will plug those in now. Depending on your application, you can connect the RS-232 port, the IR port, or the relay ports. These can all be configured through the web interface. For example, if we wanted to send a CEC or Consumer Electronics Control command to power the display on when sync is detected on the HDMI input, we can configure this in the web interface. CEC commands are sent out to the HDMI output port once configured. Let's configure the device in this example to turn on the display when sync is detected and power off when no sync is detected. Note that you must have a CEC compatible display and CEC must be enabled on the display for this to work. For automatic power trigger, notice we can use several different states to trigger the display to turn on. Both the occupancy and schedule options can be configured in the Actions menu. We want to use sync in our example, and we want the display to power off or time out after a period of inactivity. We can set the inactivity time here. If sync is the trigger and CEC is chosen as the command interface, output timeout controls how long to wait after the sync is no longer detected before sending the CEC power commands. For the command interface, we will choose CEC. For the command format, we will leave this hex and we do not need a command terminator. For power off and power on, we need to choose the CEC commands we want to use. Not all devices respond to the same CEC commands, so we need to pick the compatible ones. Consult the display manufacturer documentation for more information on what is accepted. You can also use the test button to test whether or not the strings you selected work. If we want to control the inputs of the display, we can do that too by enabling this option. Notice that if we enable this, it will need a specific command string pasted in here, and we need to set the delay. The delay is the amount of time to wait after sending the power on command before sending the input selection command. Once your settings are complete, press the Done button. Now that everything is configured, we can see that the display will power on when sync is detected.